What a night of NBA action. My goodness. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. That is Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Somebody was celebrating last night.
Who?
Jen, you hear a voice? Them Seagulls, they pulled one out in overtime.
Well, we don't really care about them anymore.
We don't.
We care about the team in the basement. The Los Angeles Clippers have now beaten the Los Angeles Lakers 11 straight times, and they kicked your team right back down the stairs into the play-in tournament last night.
And they won 11
How could
straight.
that be?
So where's the ring for that? Where's the ring? Where's the banner that you get to hang for?
I think they're playing ring around the rosy with your team. They just run rings around you.
You want to see our rings that we won? You want to see our championship ring? We already got one.
Wait, you mean the cubic zirconium one that you won?
That y'all tried to get, but y'all blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, we did.
Come on, Jen. I'm ready.
Shannon, I wouldn't be shocked if my Pelicans and your Lakers meet in that play-in tournament, by the way.
You already
All
know
right,
what's
the Lakers. Yeah. And we're coming for you. Because your Lakers, they couldn't get it done last night. True, they were on back-to-back, but both losing efforts. Last night, final score, 125-118. LeBron finishes with a game-high 33, but he only had 3 at halftime. Anthony Davis had 17 in the game. The Lakers trailed by as many as 24 points in this loss. LeBron called it, quote, one of the toughest games we've had all year. Shannon, who's most to blame for this Lakers loss?
The Clippers. It seemed like every time they play the Lakers, Skip, they can't miss from 3. Remember the last time they played, they made 15 threes in the first half. Now they open the game up 7-10 for 3 in the first quarter.
You do bring out the very best in the Clippers.
Russ hit 2 threes. He walks into a jumper, and so he gets it going. And then everybody's like, well, man, if Russ hitting threes, I know it's going to be our night tonight. And then boom, boom, boom. Every time the Lakers made a run, the Clippers would snuff it out and go on a run of their own. They the first quarter, they were down like 13, 14 points. They come back and even take a lead on a Troy Brown Jr. 3 in the corner.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, they hit 2 more threes. Okay, the second half, they're up by 24. They come all the way back, cut it to 6. And then boom, boom, 2 threes in a row, you're back up to 12. And they really never felt threatened from that point on. And that's what happened. Norman Powell, remember, Skip, the last game they played him. He played sensational.
Yeah.
Again, he had been struggling. He played sensational last night. He outscored the Lakers bench by himself, 27-25. And then when you chip in with Bones Highland, bombing threes, Terrence Mann going 4 of 6, 4 of 5, 2 of 2 from 3, and 10 points. What are you going to do? Russ really didn't play. Russ played 21 minutes. I don't think did he play the fourth quarter? He didn't play much of the third quarter.
Played 5 minutes in the second half.
But the damage was already done.
Yeah.
And then you look at what the other guys came in. Kawhi was efficient, 9 of 17, 4 of 7 from 3. But I just, for whatever reason, the Clippers get up more so for the Lakers than they do any other team. They shoot the ball better against the Lakers than they do any other team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Skip, I'm not going to use the back-to-back. Because the Lakers, you should have won those 3 games that you lost on the missed free throws by AD.
Yeah.
You should have won that game that you had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter.
You did.
And then who cares if this is a back-to-back? You put yourself in this situation that you're going to have a back-to-back. You looked at the schedule. Hell, I'm sure everybody looked at the schedule like, damn, down the stretch, man, we got a back-to-back in 3 of the last 4 ball games. Damn, how that's going to play out for us? Go ahead and take care of business, and it doesn't matter. But they didn't take care of business, and they find themselves in this situation. Skip, LeBron James, and I don't think it's hyperbole when I say I've seen probably 90-95% of LeBron James's game. That was the worst half of basketball that I had ever seen him play. Now, I'm saying a half. Now, maybe he's played when you combine that half with the first half with the second half or a second half with the first, and you might say, well, he's played worse games. But for a half of basketball, I'm going to need somebody to show me a game in which he's played worse than what he played last night. And then in the second half, Skip, I don't know, have we ever seen him play a better half? 12 of 14, 30 points, 16 and 14 in the fourth quarter, 16 in the third, 14 in the fourth. But it wasn't nearly enough. He needed someone else to come along and go for the ride with him. But when you look at Kawhi 25, Zubac had 17, Russell had 14, and then you get 27, 14, and 10 from 3 guys off the bench. It was too much to overcome. I'm not going to use the excuse, Skip, as a back-to-back. And, they played it, coy, game time decisions. And hell, from the looks of it, they're like, hey, y'all should just go ahead and rest and try to roll the dice Friday and Sunday.
True.
But I'm going to give the Clippers their credit because the Clippers played extremely well, and they deserve to win this ball game. Because every time the Lakers would try to make a game of it, they would go boom, boom, boom with 3 and 2, and a 6-point lead went back to 12, went back to 16, went back to 18. They cut it down to 8, 9 points. But there's only like 30 seconds left in the ball game. So I didn't make too much out of that, but give the Clippers credit. That's who's most responsible for the Lakers losing this ball game, was the Clippers and how well they shot the ball early.
Okay. I hear everything you just said. But after I slept on this, I decided that the game I watched from start to finish last night is the weirdest NBA game I have ever witnessed on many levels. Okay, let's start with the start, your first level, which is back-to-back. Long road trip, tough flights.
4 games
They got stuck in Minnesota because it's snowing and they had to stay overnight when they weren't planning to stay overnight. Then they go to Utah and it's another snowstorm and they were trying to de-ice the plane. This would be not last night, but the night before.
Yeah, Tuesday.
And they were a couple of hours late leaving Utah to get back to Los Angeles. They get back, land around 2 o'clock in the morning. It messes up your sleep cycle, blah, blah, blah. I got all that.
Yeah.
I've been doing this way too long. I know this league. I know it from the 1970s. Trust me on this.
When they fly a commercial?
Yeah. In the 70s and through the 80s, when I was really all over the NBA, covering it just every day, day in, day out, lots of big playoff series, nobody ever even mentioned back-to-back. Trust me on this.
No,
it wasn't even an issue because nobody spoke about it.
Right.
I never even looked at the schedule to think, well, wait a second, they just played last night in Denver or wherever they were. No. You just played, and I'm going to say it one more time. Michael Jordan 9 times played all 82 games, and a 10th time he played 81, and 11th time he played 80 games. They just played.
They just played.
Because when you played, you just played.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not an option. You're a little banged up. You got a game Sunday. You just suck it up.
Yeah.
You ice and you take a shot or whatever you have to do.
Well, you covered the league when they played preseason. Remember they used to play all the preseason games?
They played 6 preseason games.
They did.
Okay. So there was no such thing as load management.
Nope.
I wasn't even aware of the term back-to-back because nobody spoke about it. And yet, the more, you know how the mind works.
Yeah.
The more you speak about it, the more you plant seeds of doubt in your mind of, oh, no, it's a back-to-back. It's a back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give LeBron a break here because he is 38 years of age and he has high mileage on his body. But we're coming to the close, to the finish line. And I was happy and impressed and admired the fact that both he and Anthony, probably just 30 minutes before tip-off, said, okay, let's go. This was a very big game because it's a pay me now or pay me later kind of a game.
Yep.
If you can finish in the 6th seed or maybe the 5 seed, then you avoid having to play in the play-in immediately after the close of the regular season. You might get 6 days off. You might even get 7 days off, depending on when they schedule your first playoff game.
Right.
Could LeBron use that at this stage? You better believe it. So he knew, I got to suck it up and go. Given what you just told me about first half versus second half, I'm going to go with you and raise you on both of them. It was the worst half of basketball I've ever watched, and I think I've watched more LeBron games than you have because I can't remember missing a LeBron game.
Right.
It was shockingly off kilter. He was completely out of it in the first half. How does LeBron freaking James end up with, 3 points and 4 turnovers?
Yep.
And the turnovers were like, you've lost your mind. You're not there. You left your mind in Salt Lake City, right?
Yep.
What are you doing? What are you thinking? And yet, he turns the worst half of basketball into, I'm going to go right over the edge on this one. I thought under the circumstances, given his stage and age, given the magnitude of this game as it impacts their playoff chances, I thought he played his greatest half of basketball against a team that has owned his team and has now obviously won 11 straight games. Shannon, it was underrated because they could never get back in the game.
Correct.
They cut it. I got it cut to 7. You say 6?
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
I
6
missed.
or 7.
Okay, they cut it to 7 at one point in the third quarter. But to your point, every time they cut it, every time they made a huge run, somebody on the Clippers, Bones Highland, would make another shot, and you'd say, well, that's just too good. It's a make-or-miss league, and they're making everything. And weird people are making them, even though Norman Powell, Storm and Norman, he sure looks like the sixth man of the year to me, because you want to talk about a professional scorer, that's what he is.
Yes.
He looks a little weird because he's a little bow-legged.
Yeah.
He looks a little awkward, and he doesn't look that athletic until he's got a ball in his hands, and then you can't stop him.
Yes.
Look at what he did last night. He shot 10 free throws. He attempted 10 and made all 10.
Yes.
He shot 5 more free throws than any Laker shot because he was attacking the basket.
Yes.
Okay, so help me out here. How did LeBron James go from playing 38 minutes at Utah, including in overtime, in which he had to really reach down because he
scored 9 in overtime.
He had to redeem himself because he missed the left-handed layup that could have stopped the overtime and ended the game.
Yep.
And it's redemption. And he was great, and I'm sure he was a little gassed. Okay, wouldn't it be predictable that he might play the second half last night that he played in the first half?
Yes.
And then he would just hit the wall.
Run out of gas.
And he's just, at halftime, he'd say, guys, I'm shot. I'm spent. I am done. You guys got to pick me up here in the second half. Shannon, it went completely the other way.
It did.
How at halftime can a 38-year-old say, I'm going to reach down. I'm going to jump start. You can't do it. No. I don't know how you do that and play the greatest half. I'm going to show you, and you saw it, but for those who didn't stay up late enough to see this, I want to show you the 12 shots that LeBron James made in the second half of a game they almost got back into, right? They came real close to putting enough pressure on where they'd break them. You know, there's a point of no return where if you cut it to 3 maybe, all of a sudden the Clippers crumble and break. Okay, watch what LeBron does.